Finally, I think it's probably most important to be present. And I think the problem with communication is that we don't listen to understand. We listen to reply. I mean, we may physically be there in the conversation, but we're not present. Those of you who know me know that I'm a huge animal lover. And last March of 2014, on a whim, I stopped by the local animal shelter and was entranced by this 3.5-month-old puppy. And so I went in there and I said, tell me about this dog. And they said, well, a family with a 3-year-old adopted him. He's a puppy. He jumps on the kid, knocks the kid down, scratches the kid. They bring the dog back. And I said, well, what happened to him? They said, well, we'll probably put him down. He's been deemed aggressive. And for a full week, I struggled and said, I can't let that happen. And so I went and I adopted this puppy. I named him Scout. This is Scout. There is not an aggressive bone in this dog's body. This is his 1-year birthday shot, December 1st. This is Scout several months ago at a friend's lake house. Scout is the most present creature I've ever seen. I don't care whether he's chewing on a toy, waiting for a treat at the dog park, riding with his head out the sunroof. He is in the moment. He does not care about what his next meal will be, what will happen 15 minutes, what happened last night. It's all about in the moment. Now, some of you may know that for the last 3 years, as part of my physical fitness regime, I've been practicing hot yoga. Now, hot yoga is not a yoga class with beautiful women in it. A hot yoga class is a yoga class in a room where the temperature is between 95 and 105 degrees, 40% humidity. So there's a lot of sweating that is going along. And anytime you do a pose, we typically hold it. And if we're doing a balancing pose, and I don't know if I can do it in these shoes, they always say, find a spot, focus on it, and don't move your focus. So if I'm in chair, and I'm trying to transition into Warrior 3, I have to find a spot and focus on it. And if I want to transition from Warrior 3 into Tree, if I take my focus off of my spot, I fall out of the pose. And a lot of times what happens is we don't stay present and we fall out of the pose. Well, one of my favorite yoga instructors is a girl by the name of Nicole, and she's always talking about this thing called dynamic stillness. And I love that. And she says, you know, we're so hectic and we're moving at all this pace. And when we're in a yoga pose, all of our muscles are in this dynamic stillness. Another one of my favorite yoga instructors is Betty Callister. This is Betty right there. Betty is one of the happiest people I've ever met. She's also one of the most connecting. If you talk to Betty, you feel like you're the only person that's important to her. I don't care what's swirling around her. She is so present. And I think what happens is when life becomes hectic, stressful and overwhelming, that stillness seems so difficult and far away. And I think it can be said that our disconnection with those around us creates imbalance in every aspect of our lives. Last month, on June 28th at 5:45 in the evening on a Sunday afternoon, a small plane crashed into the house in Plainville, Massachusetts, killing the 3 passengers aboard, a doctor, his wife, and teenage daughter. You see, my friend Betty Callister was on that plane. Her and her husband were taking their daughter on a potential college trip. And I've thought a lot over the last couple of weeks about what might be going through Betty's head in those last moments. Was she praying for the safety of the people in the house? That would have been Betty. Was she thinking about the people that she loved? That would have been Betty. Or maybe she was thinking about her daughter who was back in Knoxville who would never see them again. That was certainly Betty. You know, I just think it's about being present. On the Friday, 2 days before the crash, Betty was in a yoga class with me. In typical Betty fashion, after the class, we left and we were laughing, and as we walked out, she said, hey, do you want to go get some lunch? And I said, no, let's do it another time. Moments of impact. I cannot tell you how many times I wish I had that moment back. And it's made me think about all the other moments in my life that I've let slip away because I wasn't present. Because I had my own agenda. I pray that you don't leave this conference this afternoon without finding at least one person and telling them how important they are to you and how you've impacted them in a positive way. It's about being present.